Hey everyone, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. This is going to be Shopisode number 7, and what I'm really excited to do in this Shopisode is, if you guys aren't familiar with Jimmy DiResta, I'm sure mostly everybody who's subscribed to my channel is familiar with Jimmy. He's a YouTuber who makes tons of cool stuff, but he has a really robust and one of the best vlog series in my opinion. I'm going to try to make my vlogs more like his now, in the way that I'll be doing a little voiceover with you guys, and also the clips that I'm going to show you are going to be in the moment of me kind of bringing you guys along with what I'm currently doing in the shop at that time. And you know, I can kind of break up and add on to it while I'm sitting here with you guys if I need to, but I think it's gonna make a lot better of an experience for you guys, and it's gonna allow you guys to feel a lot more with me in the shop. So let's get right into it. I wanted to quickly update you guys what's going on with my life. I just finished school the last week. June 15th was my last final, and now I have the first summer free of an internship or any big type of commitment for a while. And I only have one more quarter left of college starting in September, and I'll be graduated in December, which I'm really looking forward to that. So that's kind of the update, and why over the last 2-3 weeks or so with finals and big projects and things like that with school, I haven't been able to upload as much as I would have liked. But now that I'm finally on my summer vacation, and like I mentioned, don't have any huge commitments, I should be able to upload videos a lot more regularly and get some good content going with you guys. So one of the things I really wanted to tell you guys that's super cool and has been kind of a game changer for me, even though it's been a really small thing that I did in the shop, is I got a new bandsaw blade that's a 3/4 inch Timberwolf blade, and I'll show you guys more in a second what it's like. So this is the new bandsaw blade I got. It's a 3/4 inch Timberwolf blade. I forget exactly the specifications on it. I can look it up if you guys are really curious, but it's the resawing one that fit this length for this bandsaw, which I believe was like 89 to 92 inches length, and this thing's a beast. I mean, I've been making some resaw cuts on it, and it just cuts like butter. So what's really cool about that blade, I know I just showed you guys it, but it's the biggest size my bandsaw can use, which for me is like something I never got to before. In the past, I think the biggest I ever had was a 1/2 inch or 3/8 of an inch, and it is just so much better than anything I've used. And one of the things I was really surprised about when I put that blade on is the RPMs of the bandsaw is actually faster with it, which didn't make sense to me at first, because since it's a bigger and heavier blade, I assumed it would, if nothing, be the same speed, and maybe if anything be slower than the previous blades that were lighter. But it makes sense, because since it's like a centrifugal force, since it's heavier, it's actually speeding up and therefore using that weight to its advantage. So I love the blade. I highly recommend, if you guys have the similar style of bandsaw that I do. A lot of 14-inch bandsaws like mine are very similar. Check out the 3/4 inch blades if you aren't using your blades to do scroll work and curves. They are awesome, and it cuts like butter. So one of the first things I wanted to bring along with you guys that was really fun was making these gold leaf blanks. So I made these gold leaf blanks the first time for you guys, and if you guys have seen my most recent video, the second block I made was actually for a collaboration YouTube video with Stoic Rings, and you guys should definitely go check out their channel. They should be uploading that video really shortly. There was a mail mishap, and so they just got the package. But anyway, the clips you guys are about to see are me messing around with some gold mica flakes, and they turned out really, really cool. So one of the things I just got in the mail today that I'm gonna cast with you guys are these gold mica flakes. And they look really cool. I think they're gonna make a really cool gold leaf, floating gold leaf kind of thing going on the resin. So let's do that and play with these. It should be pretty cool. And if I think they turn out really awesome, maybe I'll start making these pen blanks to sell more consistently. You know what, guys? I think I'm actually gonna use this really large pen blank mold. I use this to make ring blanks, just because I don't want to use too much resin, just for a test, and this will, you know, leave me with something that I could still turn or give to somebody to use. So we're going to use this, and I'll skip to when I start pouring. Alright guys, So the resin is all mixed up. There is the brand. I can put it in the description if you guys want. It's on Amazon. Just Google gold mica flakes. So I think what I'm gonna do here, sorry if the sound's coming out the right side. It's because I'm trying to do this all still close to the camera. So what I think I'm gonna do is use a spoon for this guy, but I'm gonna pour it all in first. I don't know if this is gonna be enough resin to fill up this mold completely, but it should be enough to do this test. I actually think it might be pretty perfect. Yeah, it is pretty perfect. So let's see how much to do. Oh, this is gonna look so cool, I can already tell. Honestly, screw it, I'm just gonna go like this. And then I'm gonna use that popsicle stick to kind of press it around. Press it down in there. Oh guys, this is so sweet looking. I think I need way more though. What's cool, these little guys only cost like $4. So I think this is actually gonna turn out incredibly cool, and I'm totally gonna consistently make these. Ooh, we're just using the whole thing, we're just going for it. All things, oh, a little left, there we go. Get it down in there. Honestly, kind of want to use more. Let's do it. I want it to be like almost all gold leaf. More. You know what, screw it, guys. We're just gonna use 2 whole ones. It's gonna be nuts. Starting to get a little jelly-like, so I'm gonna put this in the pressure pot really soon. I'm totally fine, but I just want to get it in there soon. Oh, this is gonna be so sweet. All right, so I'll show you guys this tomorrow, how it turns out, but I think it's gonna be pretty cool. Try to pick up the phone and get a better angle on this. The lighting isn't the best, I'll just show you guys after. All right, everyone, I just took the block out, and wow, this thing is so cool. The mica flakes sank a lot more than I expected. I expected them to kind of float, but I am not disappointed. This thing looks so cool. Just in the light, it shimmers so much depending on how you tilt it, and definitely gonna have to make more of these. And I'll probably put this up on my Etsy if anyone's interested. Let me know. And so one of the other things that I was working on and I wanted to share with you guys was my decision to fully go all out on making the shredded money and gold leaf pen blanks. And if you guys saw my most recent video of making the gold leaf block for Stoic rings, you guys could see that the gold leaf flakes I were using were already shredded into big flakes for me. And it's really, really great material. So I think the clips you guys are about to see of me making those money pen blanks, they're actually going to be even better in the future, because on the clips you guys are gonna see, I was using sheets of gold leaf and then creating the flakes myself, which was not as effective, and it's just a lot harder. And with this stuff, there's so much of it, I think it's just gonna be a lot better. So I'll show you guys that right now. So I decided I was gonna make some more money and gold leaf pen blanks. Now this looks like an absolute mess right now, so let's get this over to the bandsaw and clean it up so I can show you guys the blocks, and then we're gonna cast some more as well. Here they are, guys. They're way more packed down with money than last time, but they definitely don't have as much gold leaf as I'd like. I'm still trying to work on how the best way to incorporate that, but there they are. So definitely let me know what you guys think about those shredded money and gold leaf pen blanks. The only person that I can find on Etsy or eBay, just anywhere on the internet basically, that sells those pen blanks sells just shredded money pen blanks. And they sell them for about $12 or $13 each, I think, which I'm gonna sell mine for $9, and you get the pretty cool gold leaf factor that I think kind of makes them unique and a lot more special than the just pure shredded money. So let me know if you guys think that's a good idea. I mean, I love sharing these ideas with you guys and getting your feedback as well, because it's kind of, you know, a business for me, but also a way of sharing, making cool projects with you guys as well. It's kind of hard to explain, but basically I love making supplies, I guess is the best way to say it, that other people turn into super cool projects. So if it's not something that the large majority think is gonna be a good idea to consistently make for people, I'm not gonna do it. So let me know what you guys think about those. And so one of the things I was up to lately that I forgot to film in the act of it, and there's a couple of reasons why I didn't film the making of these custom blocks. I had 2 custom orders, and one was for a guy named Roger, and another was for Stoic rings. They're pretty big orders. One was 6 blocks and Stoic wanted 8 blocks. And the reasons why I wasn't able to film this at the time was twofold. One, it was right after I finished with finals. I didn't have a lot of time to make these for these 2 gentlemen because they had already been waiting for my whole finals week to finish so that I could make them. And also, I'll show you guys the mold that I made for Stoic's rings. It actually needs to go into the pressure pot sideways. And so that for me, since I haven't built a huge contraption to hold it sideways, I've kind of built some blocks to hold the pressure pot sideways. But it's too stressful and precarious for me to film at the same time and do a good job of showing you guys what I'm doing. I can definitely make a video on that in the future and take my time. But since I was making 4 blocks at a time in that pressure pot, and they were, you know, pretty nice material. It was good maple burl and stuff like that. I didn't want to take the risk. So I'll show you guys the blocks, and then I'll also really quickly show you guys the mold that I'm talking about that caused all these problems. So these are the ring blanks for Stoic. I haven't cleaned them up because I want to keep the dimensions perfect for them so that they can turn this cylindrical and then turn it into pens. But they all have maple burl. These blocks are a 1/2 inch square. So I basically have about 3/4 of an inch, about roughly half of it with live edge maple burl all the way throughout, so that the blanks are going to have 50% maple and resin. And these things look really cool when they're turned into rings because the green is slightly transparent when it's turned really thin, and the white looks really cool as well with the swirls. And you guys should definitely check out their site if you guys are interested in seeing what these rings look like. They're really cool. They're called the Aurora rings. And these are the block scales I made for Roger, who's going to be turning these into knives. They're going to be a set, so each 3 are going to be a set of 6 kitchen knives. So this is going to make 6 kitchen knives, and this is going to make 6 kitchen knives. And it's hard to tell without cleaning these guys up, but these are actually black and red, and they look super cool. Like, it was a lot easier for me to tell when I was making them how cool they're gonna look. And then once they cure, it's harder to tell, obviously, without cleaning it up. And I wanna let Roger, you know, use as much material as he can. And then these are black and white swirl, and they kind of have the river look. This is the Coolibah burl, if I'm pronouncing that right, the Australian burl, and this is maple. So I think they're gonna turn out really sweet. So here's the mold I was telling you guys about. This thing makes 3 1.5 inch square blocks. The far right cavity is actually a little bit bigger than that, but that's okay. But as you guys can see, this guy does not fit in the pressure pot like normal. So what I have to do is I drilled these little slanted pieces of just scrap 2x4, and it's definitely not as sturdy as I'd like it to be. But what I do is I put this guy like that. It's held in place on the side by those scraps, and then I have this screw right here that I put this piece of scratch HDPE behind because it gets stopped by this wood over there. And then I can kind of push it back. And it's relatively sturdy. You know, obviously if you tip it back, the pressure pot itself isn't perfectly level, and having a big hole back there doesn't help. But it's something that works for this mold, and I don't use this mold too much other than those orders. But eventually, you know, when I probably get another pressure pot, I will make a dedicated contraption for one of my pressure pots. If I could make it so that it's removable, so that I could basically have its normal orientation in the hole and then just, you know, take something out and put it right here, which probably wouldn't be too hard to do. So I'll probably work on that sometime. And if it turns out, you know, pretty successful and worth sharing, I'll definitely share it with you guys as well. So one of the last things I wanted to mention with you guys that I'm super excited to announce, and it's not necessarily an announcement, it's more of a notice, because Zach Higgins and I haven't set a date or anything like that concrete on when we are going to release anything, but the kind of notice, or, you know, foreshadowing announcement, if you want to call it that, is Zach Higgins and I are going to be starting a podcast called The Resin Cast, and it's going to be clearly about resin casting. And I'm really excited to make this with Zach and to share this content with you guys, because it's something that is going to be so valuable, I think, to anybody who is interested in resin casting or does resin casting, and it's going to be valuable in so many different ways. We're planning on having a segment for answering questions that we get every week, so that it can just be, you know, a place where every episode is going to answer some questions that probably the majority of you have, if somebody has them, and that will give Zach and I an easy way to answer those questions. And we're just going to talk about anything and everything resin casting. We're going to share, you know, the pro tips we've learned. We're going to share, you know, the things that we wish we learned. Like, I know I made a video on that, but there's honestly 5 times more than those things that I mentioned. Those were just big things. And just like I said, anything and everything resin casting, and it's going to be a ton of fun. As a lot of you guys have probably watched Zach's videos. Zach's a super cool guy. He's a good buddy of mine at this point through all the interaction him and I have had with this resin casting stuff and everything that goes along with it. And so I'm really excited for that. Definitely look forward to future more concrete announcements on my channel and his channel as well when we get closer to having our first few episodes up, because that's going to be really cool, and it's going to be a great medium, I think, for a lot of you to enjoy our content, because I know a lot of us, when we're out in the shop, we're just, you know, listening with our headphones in or listening to music. You're not ever really watching a video as you work. You can't, you know, have your eyes in 2 different places. But this is a way you can enjoy some great content and some valuable info while working and getting stuff done in the shop. So I think it's going to be great in that regard as well. So definitely let me know what you guys think about that whole podcast idea, because Zach and I are super excited and we think it's going to be really great. So definitely let me know what you guys think, and, you know, any suggestions for anything like that as well. So there's a couple more things I wanted to share with you guys. One is taking you guys along with me on making a really cool transparent Alumilite resin and maple burl block. It's a pretty cool transparent blue tinted Alumilite resin. It's kind of looks like blue glass almost, and if it's polished up correctly, it looks pretty cool. And I do that for you guys when I kind of take you guys along with me. And it's probably one of the more unique or special types of blocks I make with that kind of transparent resin, and it's a lot easier than a lot of people originally think when they see it. It's really comes down to just using a little bit of dye. So I'll take you guys along with me right now, because I got a lot of comments of people just saying in the past Shopisodes, we love seeing these blocks, they're super sweet and super cool, but we want to see how you make them. It's, you know, cool to see them after the fact, but we want to see the process. So I'll bring you guys along with me for that right now. So I'm going to cast a block with this maple burl. What's nice about this piece of maple burl, so obviously it's stabilized, so it's going to be really nice when it's all done and finished, but it's very thick. As you guys can see, it's about 1 inch thick. So this block should be pretty nice, and since I'm gonna have all this space here in this mold, I can make some pretty nice swirls, or I'm not sure exactly what I'm gonna do yet. I might just go with some transparent color. I think that's what I'm gonna do since I haven't made a video showing you guys that. So let's do some blue tinted transparent resin, and that should be pretty fun. All right, so hopefully you guys can hear me okay. So basically what I'm gonna do for this guy, because I don't really want to spend the time and the energy to use sand or some other form of displacement to figure out the volume of this, I'm gonna go off of the amount of resin I use normally for pen blanks, which is about 260 grams, 250 grams or so in total. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'll kind of skip through or speed up through the mixing part, and then I'll touch on the most important part when it comes to transparency when I get to that, which is how much dye to add. So let's get to it. So the most important part when it comes to adding dye, if you're trying to keep it transparent, is obviously not adding a lot of dye. So what I do is I get one of my barbecue skewers, and as you can see on the top, there's a little bit of dye that is just left over from it squeezing out in the so I'll get the tip of my barbecue skewer. I don't know if it will focus or not, but probably not. So I just get the tip wet with a little bit of dye, and that's really all it needs. It's, you know, probably the equivalent of maybe a fourth of a drop, maybe even less than that, and I'll just stir it in there a little bit and then take the skewer out and then mix it in there. And it's obviously easier to see in person, and I'll bring up the dye or bring up the resin in a second to show you guys how it's only ever so slightly tinted blue. And I've done this before with green. I haven't tried it with red, but it would work obviously just the same, and pretty much any other Alumilite dye. Of course, there's other dyes that are just not as potent or strong that you wouldn't have to do this with, but if you do have a really strong dye like Alumilite has, that's the way to do it. And as you guys can see, it's see-through in the cup. So let's see if my guess ended up being enough. Hopefully I don't have to pour some more. And it's honestly pretty dang perfect, which is pretty nice. So I'm going to put that pressure pot in for a few hours, and probably on the next day I'm doing stuff and filming, showing you guys the Shopisode. I'll show you guys this, and we'll do some more casting or whatever else I'm working on in the shop that day. Alright everyone, so this is how the block turned out after I finished it, or I shouldn't say finished, after I cleaned it up and polished it and I spray lacquered it. I wanted to show you guys right after I sprayed the spray lacquer because it would have been more crystal clear, but this thing's crystal clear once it gets like a CA finish on it or something like that. And it's unfortunately a lot thinner because I kind of messed up on the bandsaw. But anyway, pretty cool, wanted to share that with you guys. And the other thing I wanted to share with you guys that's also maple burl related is I have a ton and a lot of maple burl cutoffs. I'll show you guys in a second all of the ones I have, but I also have some that are currently in cactus juice being stabilized that are really big, thick pieces that can be cut into knife scales or just pen blanks, and a lot of cool stuff. I mean, there's some really nice, even small pieces that could be, you know, built in or carved into keychain pendants or just tons of little things. So I'll share that with you guys, and if there's any interest in any of those, definitely let me know, because at least the ones I'm stabilizing or already stabilized, I am going to cut into scales or pen blanks even for my own, either for my own use or to put on Etsy and sell to you guys. So I'll show you guys those right now. So this is kind of the pile of scraps I have from cutting all those pieces for the Stoic ring blank order. So all these pieces are stabilized, and even though this guy is unfinished, you can tell it's gonna have some really nice figure, especially when it's finished. And you know, this is like totally big enough to either be a small knife handle, or it could be cut into two, you know, pen blank sized things for some pen kit that either I'll use, or, you know, somebody's welcome to buy these off my hands for like a small price, because they're really nice and they're really useful. But at the end of the day, they are scraps that I'm either gonna use or just keep until somebody wants them. And there's a lot of them. Like, they're all different sizes because I had to cut them, and some still have some live edge that I'll end up probably casting. But a lot of these are just, you know, like the sizes I was showing you guys, and really, really good stuff. I mean, whoops. This is like already pretty much a perfectly cut pen blank, and so I'll be cutting more of the ones that are in the cactus juice, but I wanted to give you guys kind of a preview of what this stuff looks like. So with all that said, everybody, I think I'm going to wrap it up for this one. I know I showed you guys a lot of clips, and right now I'm not necessarily how sure I'm. So with that, everybody, I'm going to wrap it up. With all the clips I showed you guys and all of the talking I did, I'm not exactly sure at this moment how long this video is going to be, so I don't want to make it too long if it ends up being incredibly long. But in the future, to kind of, you know, gauge how you guys feel on length, I'll definitely ask you guys to let me know what you guys would think is a good length, and if this one ends up being way too long, let me know. If it is too short and you think I could have added more, I'll definitely do that. But since I haven't put it all together and this is the first style of doing this vlog, I definitely want to be on the safe side and not bore you guys with a ton of stuff. So thanks so much for watching. I'm really excited to keep making these in this style. I think it's going to be really fun for all of us. We're just gonna, you know, kind of hang out in the shop, so to speak, and it's gonna be a ton of fun. So thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. It really helps me out a lot, and definitely like the video as well, because it helps YouTube let my videos be known to other people who haven't seen them yet. So thanks so much again, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.